Welcome to the Lean Podcast, where empowerment and alignment come together. I'm your host, Mahogany, here to guide you through inspiring stories of resilience, overcoming grief, health challenges, career struggles, and more. Together, we'll lean into strength, embrace growth, and discover the power of sharing experiences. Before we dive into today's episode, I'd like to start with a prayer. If you feel comfortable, I invite you to join me. Dear God, thank you for this space to uplift, inspire, and empower. Bless the woman sharing her story today and those who are listening. May this podcast be a source of hope, healing, and alignment with your purpose for our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Hello, everyone. Help me welcome my beautiful guest, Tiffany Rene. Tiffany Rene is a resilience and growth expert, and she is also a mother here to share with us her story on finding her identity and purpose. Help me welcome Tiffany Rene.
Hey everyone, I'm so happy to be here. Thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Girl, thank you for getting on. I'm so happy that we somehow ended up in the same Facebook group and you reached out wanting to share your story with us all today. I really don't take it lightly that you chose this podcast to share on. So thanks for being here.
Of course.
So we know a couple things about you, and I really would like the audience to get to know you a little bit more. So could you share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am a resilience and growth expert. So what I do with that, I am completely dedicated to helping women to exchange their pain for purpose, to radiate confidence, and to grow and thrive in every area of their life. It doesn't matter what you're going through. And what is hindering you and stopping you from propelling into an amazing future. That is what I love to do, is help pull that out of you, get rid of it, and let's go. Let's accelerate. So I have been in social work for over 15 years, doing everything you can think of in working especially primarily with women. I've always loved it. And now what I've done for the states or other companies, I do in my own business. So I have my own business called Here to Empower Enterprises, and that's everywhere. All of my social media handles, Here to Empower. And that is literally what I'm here to do. So I do that by various speaking engagements. I do that by a life coaching service that I offer. And I also wrote a book recently called This is Freedom.
Yay, awesome. I love that you wrote a book. That's
Yes,
something on my bucket list one day.
you
So
can
I'm
do it.
already in your footsteps. I'm glad I'm on the right track here with the
Yes,
social work and everything.
yes.
Wow, Tiffany, that's so amazing that you've done have all those accomplishments so far. However, as we all know, to have resilience and to have growth, we do have to have trialing moments to help us get to that point, right?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. So, can you share with us just a bit about your story and how you even found this space where you can now instill into other people how to have resilience and growth?
Yes. So I know I don't look like it on the outside or on social media or anything, but I went through an egregious amount of trauma, from physical abuse, verbal abuse, mental. I mean, I would say it started from childhood, just never feeling like I was enough, never feeling pretty enough. And I think a lot of that comes with how you parent. So, like, now I'm really adamant about telling my daughters, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, and telling my son, you're strong, you're amazing, you're smart. So I did not get that growing up. And so when the cruel kids made fun of me, the more you hear something, the more you believe it. Right. Even the private school I went to was predominantly Caucasian. And so I would get made fun of for the darkness of my skin. I just started off kind of not feeling worthy, not feeling beautiful enough, not feeling enough, period. And so that translated on in life. When middle school and high school comes and everyone has their boyfriend and everybody is like oh, I go with this person and I'm hanging out with friends that may be a little lighter than me. We can talk about colorism a little bit. They're getting talked to, but I'm not really. So just a lot of little things throughout your life can lead to the rhetoric that you're not enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, all of those things. And then you really start to believe it, and it impacts you in your relationships. And so once I finally did get me a little man, I started to find my identity in that. Like, see, I am enough. See, I got my validation, right? I am pretty. Somebody likes me. This is going good. And so when you have been craving that validity, that love for so long, that recognition, when you finally get it, it's like you'll do anything to hold on to it. You'll do anything. So that let me down. People pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll whatever you need. I just don't want you to leave me. What makes you happy? Okay, okay, okay. Let me do this for you. Let me go out of my way. Let me go above and beyond, even if I only get crumbs in return. But those crumbs are enough to keep me there because I need that validation. I need that love. And so that just kind of continued in my relationships where I started to feel like as long as I have a man, I'm that girl. I'm that girl. I'm not, at least I'm not lonely.
Right. How old were you when you got your first boyfriend? When you got your first little man?
Ooh, I was 15 when I got in my first real relationship. And I actually talk about it in the group because that's when I lost my virginity, and which was way too early for me to lose my. I knew nothing about sex, and my parents didn't talk about it. I am Caribbean people, you are not being taught about sex. I don't know how you're gonna learn, but you just gonna learn. So my peers were starting to do it, and then again, he was the first person that really showed me love and attention like I needed it. And so he wanted it. I wasn't ready, but because I needed to hold on to him, I just gave in, right? And so I just remember in that relationship, we lasted about 2, 3 years. In that relationship, I would say like, cause we grew up watching Disney movies, and I feel like I'm supposed to have the fairy tale love. So I'm in Delulu land.
Main character energy.
Yes. And you're supposed to do all these things, but he was kind of like thuggish. He wasn't expressive with his emotions. Let me say it that way. And so I would be like, well, why don't you tell me you love me enough? Why don't you tell me these things? And he's like, well, you should feel it when we have intercourse. So I was like, oh, okay, well. And so now I'm putting intercourse along with love. So every time I have intercourse, that means he loves me. This is how I know a man loves me. I'm 15. I'm taking all of this in. And so I'm carrying that in every interaction. I'm just super green, super naive that a man is having sex with me. That means he loves me. That means he cares about me. And I'm continuing to find my identity in being with this person. And you can just imagine the roller coaster
Mhm.
I went on because of that. And so, because I'm trying to hold on and stuff, I'm putting these people way above myself. My worth, even though I have a man, my worth is still low. And I value them way higher than I value myself. And I became a narcissist playground.
Mm.
Because the way you value yourself, your confidence and stuff, if you have low confidence, if you have low self-worth, it shows externally. How you feel on the inside shows up externally. Just like if you're eating McDonald's, only McDonald's for 30 days, in about 30 days, it's going to show up externally. You're going to see a difference in your skin. You're going to see weight gain. You're going to see just the way your body digests things. There's going to be a lot of changes. It's the same thing if your inside, your interior is toxic. It's going to show up in your posture. It's going to show up in the way you walk, the way you talk. I like to people watch. That's a social worker in me
Me
study.
too. Me
Yeah.
too.
It's like social experiments, always just looking at people like, oh yeah, I can tell she's, and you can tell by the way someone's sitting what their confidence level is. You can tell by how they're dressed, the way things fit, the way they carry themselves, how their hair is, the type of level of confidence that they have about themselves. And so that makes you a playground for people that want to take advantage of you. Oh, she's super sweet, she's naive, this is Kate. This is Kate. And so I started getting into abusive relationships. They will love bomb you at first and say all the things you're craving to hear because you don't love yourself. So somebody having interest in you is like, oh my God, yes, this is what I needed. This is what I need. I got to hold on to this. And then conflict comes. And because you don't view yourself as worthy as you should, when they hit you, whether it be verbally or physically, it's like instead of the normal instinct to, oh no, 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 we're done. You're like, well, maybe I deserved it. What did I do? Or what did I? And it's crazy because I'm a social worker and I'm helping women come out of domestic violent relationships. And yet I find myself in one. And it's just like, how does that even happen? Because nobody's exempt. Nobody's exempt. And I'm sure you know most people that get into social work, they've gone through some type of trauma. That's
Hmm.
their passion because it's not the money.
Yeah, and the crazy part is, it seems like a lot of the times as social workers are really putting out other fires to avoid your own fires. I've been seeing that throughout the years in social work. Coworkers
Yeah.
taking off. I haven't took off in 3 years, they'll say. Like, you haven't took off in 3 years. No, I just been working, working, working. But when I took off for a week, it was just so heavy to carry everything. And it's like, yeah, just running, like you said, just, in your own situation, but putting out all the fires around you.
And then you're already dealing with secondary trauma because you're dealing with people's problems all day, all day, all day. And yeah, it's definitely easy to set yours aside and put on your cape.
Yeah, that cape. We were just talking about that cape in episode 2. So if y'all
Mhm.
missed it, go to episode 2 to find out how to take that cape off.
Yeah.
So Tiffany, so basically you're starting off with a 15-year-old relationship, and it just seems to carry on into your adulthood to
Oh
the
yeah.
point where you're a social worker helping women who are having their own domestic violence situations.
Hmm.
And in your own life, you're still trying to figure out how not to identify your love with a man based on maybe sex, or just hearing those love words you said, and being a playground for a narcissist just to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I feel like I started finding myself around 19. I started focusing more in my social work program and in church. I got into church and stuff, and I ended up getting married pretty young, very young. I got married at the same time I was graduating, and we were doing pretty good until he started becoming verbally abusive, and we would be in church and ministering to people, and then the littlest thing he cussed me out. So I was like, wait a minute. Like, oh my gosh, I just can't get out of this, right? And so I ended up finding out there was infidelity going on, so I left him, and I mean, not 2 months later I was in a relationship. I mean, the same month our divorce was finalized, I was in a whole relationship. And then 2 months in that relationship, we got engaged. So I left zero room, zero time to really heal. I just on to the next thing. It felt so weird. I remember it feeling so weird. And I ended up leaving the church too because I found out there was some crooked stuff going on. And so the ministry I had my identity in, the husband I had my identity in. I'm a mom with 2 young kids under 5. After that, I felt empty. Like, I got to get me a man. Like, what's going on? Like, so I had a whole roster, and then I was like, okay, I'll finally be with you. We got together. Oh, this was the top of the top. He love bombed the mess out of me. I mean, saying all the things, all the romantic gestures, the picnics, all types of different things. And I was just like, okay, he wasn't even my type, sis.
She said, "You'll do right time, right place. Come on."
I mean, he was not even my type. My friends were like, girl, you. But again, I needed that love, especially now. This man cheated on me. Like, I really feel low now. And so I needed that validation. I needed that. And he was feeding it to me on a platter. And so I took it. And now we're together and we're doing life together. We're married. We eloped because everything has to be quick with that type of man. You got to do it quick because he doesn't want you to leave. So I got to solidify this relationship. And so we get together, we get married. I get pregnant. I'm 6 months pregnant. We start having a disagreement. He knocks me down to the floor. This is the first time this happened. I am probably 7 years into my career at this point, and I've been working for years helping women escape these type of men and now I'm on the floor, 6 months pregnant, finding myself in the very thing I help women get out of. And so it's like, now what do you do? Because I'm away from my family. I'm moved to a whole different state. No friends around. All I know is my coworkers. And then there's a sense of shame that comes upon women when you go through things like that. You're scared to tell anybody. So now you're suffering in silence. I don't have any friends there. All my friends are out of state. The only people I talk to on a regular basis, besides my friends that are far away, are my colleagues who are also social workers. How do I go and tell them, hey, I'm in this situation? Where am I going to go? I got 2 kids and I'm pregnant with another. And so I stayed in that a lot longer than I should because I felt helpless. That shame really keeps people, specifically women, from reaching out for help, from doing anything about it. You feel it's the same thing that women experience when they're sexually abused. The shame. It's like you're not even the person who's responsible, but the shame is so overwhelming. If I tell somebody, will they believe me? If I tell somebody, will they make fun of me? Will they say, I told you so? Will they help me? I'm petrified to get the police involved because now he takes you away. Now I helped another Black man go to jail. There's so many pressures. You go to jail, now how am I going to pay my bills? I can't pay it all by myself. I'm not in a position to do that. Not with this salary.
At all.
Anyone who is a social worker does it because they love people and they love to help. It's not the money. I can assure you that.
Unless you're in California, because I hear they pay their social workers $115 in the door.
Oh wow! But then again, the cost of living is super high too.
Exactly.
But my God,
I know. I
it's
was
a small
shocked.
place.
But yeah, this social work's not the place where you think you're going just for the money.
Yeah, you have to really have a passion for helping others because that's the only thing that's going to keep you there, or you're going to burn out. The average social worker burns out in 5 years.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was very, very rough for me to get out of that situation. I just remember the things that would hurt me and break me down were the word curses spoken over my life by this man. There was one time where I just started feeling so trapped because now at this point I have 3 children. And so he would like hold me down and look me in my eyes and say, nobody's going to want you. You got 3 kids. And so I'm like, the first time I heard it, I was like, man, I'm fine. I don't even say. But I kept hearing it. And it's like, wow, like I would be divorced again 2 times. Who's going to want to marry somebody a third time? Who's going to want to take on 3 kids? And so I started believing these things about myself. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really not worthy. Here's the rejection again. That's been going on since childhood. Here's the shame. Here's the failure. Here's all of these things making the perfect mix to do what? To silence my voice, to make me feel as if I'm nothing. And I started to find my identity in my culture. As I said, I'm Caribbean, I'm Trinidadian, my whole family's from Trinidad and Tobago. And so I was like, you know what? With like the help of my sister, I was like, I think I want to start getting involved in carnival. So where I was in Charlotte, they had a Caribbean carnival coming up, and a lot of the costumes were like kind of like really skimpy and showing like your stomach. And I was like, my stomach ain't. I had 3 kids now. I can't do all that. So I was determined I was gonna help women look good and still participate in carnival and feel good about their bodies, since I was gonna make more body positive attire. And so I did more of the one pieces and different things like that to make women feel good. And so I started a whole different business. It was called Island Buzz, and I'm making costumes and selling them, and we're participating in parades, and I'm organizing the truck and making rum punch to pass out. Oh, it was a huge party. It was so huge. And I started finding my identity in that. It's like, okay, I can't be in a successful relationship. It's fine. I'm Caribbean, honey.
That's right.
It's fine. I'm going to go with this and this. And that kind of gave me strength to leave that relationship, because now I started meeting people, I started partying and all this stuff, and I was like, okay, I can swing this a little bit. And during that, the Lord gave me a dream, a vision about having a women's expo, doing something to empower women, and I was like, I can't do that. Nobody's gonna want to listen to me. That's way too big for me to do. I'm gonna start this business here. I can do that. I can do this right here. So I completely ignored that. My marriage failed. I have church hurt. I took everything out on God. I was like, I don't want nothing to do. I'm cool on all that.
So forget your vision.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do my own thing, and it was successful. I learned how to start a business. I learned how to do things. I'm throwing big concerts, flying artists in from Trinidad. I'm doing like big parties and brunches, and I mean, I was having a ball. Did Miami Carnival and this carnival here, and just bringing women together, and everybody was like happy. Like, I love it how this costume makes me feel. So that was like my way of, I guess, empowering women, because they felt good about their bodies and can still participate in this cultural experience. And so I ended up getting in another relationship, and this is the one that broke me, sis.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Oh my gosh. This man was beautiful. I'm talking about like Love and Hip Hop's finest. That's like he had the chains. He was paying for this. What you need? We're going on vacations like once a month, Hawaii, St. Martin, all these different places, and he's treating me like a queen. And I have not experienced this. He wasn't talking down to me. He wasn't doing all these things that the other guys did. I was like, no, this one, he sees value in me, and so we were like best friends. Whereas the other my 2 ex-husbands were kind of strict on certain things, like you don't need to wear that, you don't need to go that. He welcomed it. He was like, girl, wear whatever you want to wear, do whatever you want to do. I was like, okay, say less. And so there would be little things that would happen, but I didn't realize what was going on at the time. Like, I would see him on social media liking all like the IG models posts and stuff. So instead of me saying like, that makes me uncomfortable, the people pleaser in me rose up, and I was like, hey, that's what he likes. That's what I need to be. So I put on almost nothing, and I'm posing on Instagram with just everything out. And now I'm starting to feel validated with, I'll be frank, my nakedness on IG. Everybody's loving my picture, sharing it. Everybody's like, you are so bad. I was a baddie. This became one in my 30s, and I was like, I like this life here. I
Yes.
mean, woo, the DMs were going crazy. I was like, they love me. They really love me. And so now my identity is in being this baller's man in my culture and in my new baddie status.
Yes.
Yes, I didn't know how to act. And I mean, he was like, well, have you ever thought about getting a BBL? And I was like, I never thought about that. I went and got a BBL because he said he'd pay for it. I was like, okay,
Wow.
well, let me do this. And then it got worse. I mean, I was outside with it. I was wearing whatever, whatever type of floss. I mean, the buns was outside. Okay. I was wilding out, but it's because it's like what he would say ignited that in me. And I was like, okay, now I look like these girls that he's liking, and now I'm on top. I know for sure this one's not gonna cheat on me because I look like what he likes. I'm perfect. I'm getting so much praise. When I put on a costume, it looks completely different now. And I just have to wear less because y'all need to see this. Y'all need to see this. And so he ended up cheating anyways. I did all of these things to keep this man, and he ended up cheating on me so bad. I caught him. Something told me something wasn't right. I started having dreams, and when we start having those dreams, something is going on. And I still didn't trust myself because I made this man like my God, like he's everything to me. He does everything for me. He doesn't hit me. He doesn't talk bad to me. And so I was like, I'm having these weird dreams, but I know you're not doing that then. No, 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 no. I would never do that. I thought so.
So I thought.
Yeah. And then something in the pit of my stomach was like, that business trip he says he's on right now is no business. And so I pulled up. I drove 3 hours to Tampa. I was like,
Wow.
Mayo, right in, right.
Right. Pass your house.
Yes, that was me. I rode to Tampa from Jacksonville, Florida, 3 hours, pulled up on him and his ex. And that was so traumatic for me. When I got back to Jacksonville, I packed up the whole house, and me and my kids, we were gone. I went and stayed with a friend in her son's room and everything. He got back. The day he got back, we met up because he wanted to talk. I did not realize how strong the soul tie was to this man. Even though he did what he did, I still wanted to be intimate with him. I done moved all my stuff out. I done almost went Angela Bassett. and and I still wanted him. I was craving that validity. Like, yeah, you went off and had her, but do you still want me? Something in me was like, I still need you to want me. I still need you to beg for me back. And I didn't get back in a relationship with him, but I ended up moving back into the house because I was so broken. I was so tied to this man. I said I could not live without him. I could not function. I wasn't able to parent. I'm crying profusely. Like my whole identity was tied up in being with this man and what came with it. And it was just terrible. I can't. I've never been that broken in my life. That's the deepest love I've ever experienced was with him, and out of all my relationships, and the deepest hurt was with him as well. And he set it up that way. He set it up to where I would need him. It wouldn't be easy for me to leave. Like I was working at a skilled nursing facility while I had my business. They were paying me good as a social worker on site. And I was gone from the house too long. So now I took on a lower paying job so I can tend to his needs more because I was able to do it from home. And so now I'm trying to live on my own. And guess what? I ain't got enough money. I don't have enough money. I need this man. He's the breadwinner. I can forgive him. Maybe he won't do it again. And then I started praying because I was like, okay, God, I know it's been a while,
I'm here.
but I really need this man. If this is not someone I'm supposed to be with, show me. I probably asked that about 30, 45 times. Every single time within 24 hours, I found out about another woman. This was not just a one time thing. He was sending women money all over the nation, all over the nation,
But
sending
not the
them money,
nation.
the nation. Like, you don't even, you haven't even met these women. Hair done, nails done, flights to meet him on his guy's trip, all types of things. And I'm just now finding out all about this at one time. And the shame, here we go again with the shame. I'm telling you, these things happen in cycles until we break it. The shame was so strong, I wouldn't even talk to my best friends. I was like, y'all, this is going on. I can't talk. I would not talk to anybody. I just stayed in my shell and I sought comfort from the one who hurt me. That's how deep that soul tie, that connection was. I started having panic attacks. I never had that in my life.
Mm.
I'm having panic attacks because I can't believe he did this to me and I can't fathom a life without him. And when I'm having them, guess who's helping me breathe through
Was it him? You caused it.
the very person that hurt me is like, I don't trust anybody else. Like, it may be chaos, but I know this chaos. I'm comfortable with this chaos. If I leave, I don't know what else is going to happen. I've made my whole identity with this person. I am this person's woman. We're all over social media together. Other couples looking up to us and say they want to be with us. I can't just leave. And then this is a third person I have around my children.
Mm.
The shame of being a mom, the shame of what if what if their dad say you're unstable, you're moving again, and try to take them. What if there's so much that comes with it? So people say, well, why didn't you just leave? There's usually a deeper reason why people don't just leave like that. And I didn't have anyone say, girl, get up, because I shut everybody out. I shut everybody out. I didn't want anyone but him. And so there was a time where my second husband, my ex-husband, he was like holding me down, and he was like, I can see why these other blanks, these men, put their hands on you, while he was getting ready to put his hands on me. There was This was the breaking point. My ex-boyfriend, this was the last straw. I found out that he, even though he's saying, I'm begging you back, I'll never do this to you again, we're trying to work on things, trying to repair it to see if I'll take him back. I find out that he sends a girl money to fly her to Miami for them to be together in Miami on his next guy's trip. This is after I found out about over 30 women. This is after you're telling me you swear to God you'll never do it again. And so I like snaps. He came home, I slapped him. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, you got me messed up. You really got me messed up. And then he ends up like knocking me down to the ground. He's never put his hands on me before. Ends up knocking me down to the ground, kicking me in my stomach, and he's like, see what you made me do to you. And then he came up to me, looked me dead in my eye while he was holding me, and said, I can see why those men put their hands on you. These same sentence, these same tone, these same eye contact, this same body language that this other, I was like, this is deeper than what I think it is. And that is what broke me. And that was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to work on some stuff because I'm attracting, whether you believe in God or not. If you're just like, I don't know about all that, it's still a cycle. It is a cycle. It is a cycle for those that are spiritual and do believe in God. This was the same demon that followed me. This was the same spirit that followed me, because you're saying there's no way that's a coincidence. The exact same sentence, the exact same way and tone. This followed me. This was a never-ending cycle that was meant to break me. I just kept feeding on, you're not good enough. No matter what you did, the BBL didn't help. The carnival business didn't help. The uh, the outfits, the hardly wearing anything online, none of that helps me. None of that was my true identity and my true purpose. But in looking for it, I thought it was. And so I started my healing journey from there. And I was like, okay, I got to heal because I keep dating the same type of men. I keep putting myself in the same positions. And so I started fasting. I started listening, feeding my soul, feeding my mind, my heart with healthiness. So I'm looking up different motivational speakers and pastors and things that are people that are talking about what healthy love looks like. Because clearly, I don't know. At this point, sis, I don't even know. Clear, my track record says it all. So I'm listening and learning. I remember even like listening to Sierra's prayer, and I was like, this makes some sense. This makes some sense. And I was trying to figure out, because I'm learning myself all over again at this point, trying to figure out what it is that I want. What is a healthy relationship? A man that loves you a healthy way, what does that look like? Who can I compare that to so I know? Because how can we identify a healthy relationship if we've never seen it, if we don't know what it looks like? So I'm doing all of the inner work, taking care of myself and building myself up and trying to break away from that man. Because when you have a soul tie like that, it doesn't matter what they do, something in you just keeps craving it. And so I had to starve that craving until I could really break away. And I started holding myself accountable. You can't tell other people what to do and how to better their lives, and you're not doing it. So I'm in therapy. I'm talking to people. I'm letting my friends in, and I'm not shutting them out anymore. And now they're my accountability partners. Sis, I'm feeling like doing this. You said, really including people that truly love me into my life and into my healing process. I got a mentor, and then I started figuring out this carnival life. This is not my purpose. This is not my purpose. I had a whole breakdown because the costumes weren't ready in time for Miami, and people didn't do what they were supposed to do, and it just wasn't fun. It wasn't fun anymore. I was out there so stressed, hadn't eaten in 2 days, and I was drinking. I blacked out. I can't tell you half of what happened at Miami Carnival. And I was like, this is not healthy. You are a mother. This is not okay. And so by leading up the Holy Spirit said, put that down. I'm gonna tell you what to do. So I put it down and I waited for instructions. And do you remember that expo idea that I had over 8 years ago? It came back to me in that moment. So then I started writing it out. This is how it's gonna look like. I remembered exactly how I pictured it over 8 years ago. And I started working on that. When I tell you, I'm thinking, well, maybe it'll be about 400 people that come to this event because it was free. It's a empowerment expo for women to come, and we offer free childcare, and it's free entry, and there's also free massages so women can focus on their self-care, really take a break and come out of being in survival mode all the time. And so there were different panels that helped to pour into the women. There was shopping, there were providers and resources on site to help with light bills, to help you sign up for therapy, to help you sign up with a PCP if you don't have one. I mean, just everything. It was a one-stop shop for women to come in with their cup empty and leave with it full. And so I, of course, didn't think I could do anything like that. I'm even struggling with imposter syndrome the whole time I'm going through it, but I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing. Finished up therapy while I was doing it, and I'm on stage and I look out in the crowd, and there's 1,500 women present at this event. I knew nobody in the city. I moved here for this relationship, and I mean, I was just being connected with all types of different people, and they were all tapping in, and they were all willing to come out, speak to people for free, even though they get paid to do these things, and pour into women. And I was like, okay, this is my purpose. This is my purpose. I was able to heal from the toxic cycle that I was in, the relationships, the rhetoric that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worthy, that because I remember after that last relationship, I was sitting in my car thinking like, I may as well just like end my life here. Like, I'm a failure as a mom. I can't do anything right. Why am I here? And now after I got healed, it's like, this is why I'm here. If I had allowed all those things that kept happening to me over and over and over again to completely break me, to completely silence my voice, I wouldn't be on stages empowering women, helping them turn, helping them transform their entire lives. There's people that, and I want to say this to listeners, there are people that are tied to your purpose. There are people that are waiting for you to do whatever the thing is that you're supposed to do. And if you don't do it, you're not just affecting yourself, your children, your future, you're affecting them. It may be somebody that is going to get healing from seeing one of your podcast interviews, from seeing one of your on-stage presence, from taking a class from you, from purchasing a candle from you. You don't know the impact that you're going to have on someone's life. But if you allow these things that are meant to purposely break you succeed, then you're not just affecting yourself, you're affecting a whole generation, a whole bunch of people. Like, once I realized that, the weight that came with what I was doing, I'm talking about just skyrocketed. Skyrocketed. My life has never been the same. But I can relate to a lot of women because taking that step is super scary. Because again, I was so comfortable in my chaos because I knew it. It is so scary to push past that because you don't know what's on the other side. But I'm telling you, if you go to that other side, there's so much joy and freedom and fulfillment. And now you can focus on you and thrive.
Wow, 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 wow. Dang, Tiffany. So, how do you know, or how would one know what is the first step to take? I know you had your breaking point. So,
Mm-hmm.
when someone has a breaking point, how do they know what's the next step, or how did you know what was the next step to take from there?
Honestly, it happened as I was healing, as I was trying to learn what is healthy for me, what that looks like. I would say when you're dealing with toxic stress and an environment, chaotic environment, and your emotions are leading all of your decisions, it's as if you're drunk. It is as if you're drunk. And so once you start that healing process and separate from all of that chaos, you become a lot more clear headed. You can see clearly, your judgment is way better, and you're able to kind of see things for what they are. So when I was drunk, all of my emotions and my feels and everything, I couldn't see myself doing anything else. I'm like, who am I? I'm not worth anything. These men keep doing these things to me. I keep failing at different things. But once I started healing and realizing, okay, yeah, you're responsible for putting yourself in these positions, but you're not responsible for what people did to you. And I'm
Hmm.
okay, but I am responsible for my healing. So as I'm working on that healing, things just started to click for me. I started thinking, okay, well, let me oh, and I had a client do this. I was like, when you're trying to refine yourself and trying to find your actual identity, start dibbling and dabbling in different things you normally wouldn't do. I was like, I went on Groupon and I'm like, let me see what activities they have on here, because I don't, at this point I don't know what I like anymore. I don't. All my whole life was serving you, serving these men I was with, serving others. But what does Tiffany like? So I started trying to figure out what I liked, and then I realized certain topics I was super passionate about. I would either get so upset, like filled with emotion, I would cry or get upset if I see someone being taken advantage of. That was my whole purpose from while I was in school, social work. I went into that to help people that were hurting themselves or were being hurt by something. And so everything started to come back. Now I have this social work experience, and now I have this business experience, and literally they got blended together. And now what I do with my foundation, my nonprofit, that is macro social work. It's just social work on community level scale, on a bigger scale. Instead of one-on-one with the nonprofit, we serve many, many, many women in the community. And then with my personal business, I still have that one-on-one, that life coaching, that different speaking engagements and things like that. So I was able to find my purpose and my identity in the things that I've always loved. Remembering the things, I went back. What is it, something that always I've been passionate about? That's helping people. And if I let that brokenness continue to be in my ear, like, who's going to want to listen to you? You got 3 kids, who's going to want you? How are you going to say something when you let someone hit you? Then I would not be doing what I'm doing now. With that nonprofit, we have impacted over 3,000 women.
Wow. 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 That's amazing.
And so I just think, like, wow, what if I did not pivot? What if I didn't say, no, the time is my turn now? It's my turn to put myself first and my needs above other people's for now, until I can get Tiffany straightened out. What if I didn't do that? What if I was too scared to leave that relationship that kept putting me down, 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 and I just continued in it? I would have never been able to impact lives. I would have never been the key that God is using to help transform somebody's life, to help them heal from what they're going through, you know? But so nothing got lost. And that's what I love. Nothing I've been through is a waste, because I could have just went from when I used to be a youth pastor and just went straight into doing this. But now, how much more relatable am I now that these things have happened to me, now that I've taken the wrong path? So I know both sides of it through and through.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that so much. And my final question, so do you believe that when God gives us a gift or a, a opportunity to focus on, um, do you believe that we need to take action right away? And if not, there'll be consequences for not going his route for our life? Or do you feel like it always circles back around to your purpose? So in what you went through, it's not like it stopped you or prevented you or made you less qualified to do what you do now. Which
Yeah.
way do you think it goes?
I would say as long as you do it, you're good. I think that we are going to be held accountable. You do have a gift for a reason, and we have to stop being selfish and thinking it's just for us or our inner circle. Your gift is meant to be shared with the world. Whoever is in your reach, whoever is assigned to you, your gift is meant to be shared and is supposed to impact others, right? And so if you don't do anything with it, you will be held accountable. Just like there's a story of the talents. So one person, he had 5, another person he had 2, another person got 1. The person that had 5, they invested somehow, flipped it, and came back with 10. The person that had 2, they flipped it, they invested it, they worked it, came back with 4. And then the person that got that one talent, they dug it because they didn't want anything to happen to it. And then he was like, pretty much, I'm paraphrasing, that's terrible. That's terrible. You did nothing, nothing at all with what I gave you. And so you are going to be held accountable. But even if you don't do it right away, even if whatever it is that you were supposed to do years ago that you didn't do, it's okay. Let's go now. Let's go. There's no better time than now. And nothing that you went through since then is going to be wasted. Nothing I went through is wasted. Now I have all of this material to put into books, to put into stories. So when someone says, hey, this person did this to me, there's no way I can forgive them. Yes, you can, because I did. Or I can never get over this. Honey, you do not have to look like what you went through. I don't look like like someone trying to push me out of a moving vehicle at 90 miles per hour. I don't look like I almost got thrown out of a window of a 3-story building. I do not look like that. When you see me, you see freedom, you see a glow, you see, okay, sis did that. And you can have that same glow, that same joy. There is no person above another person. And so, hey, if you start late, at least start. And sometimes we think it's late, but we really had to go through something.
Wow. Woo! Tiffany, this episode has been on fire. You've left me so empowered with minimal questions, actually. Usually I'm like having to dig for more, but you really laid it on us. So we really appreciate you and all your wisdom, and we appreciate all your experiences that you shared with us in such a humorous way. I know it wasn't funny when you were going through it, but you definitely kept us entertained with laughs and smiles throughout your trauma. So thank you for sharing it in that way. And I know you shared with us in the beginning of the episode where people can find you. Can you remind us of that?
Yes, I on all social medias, I am here, HERE, the number two, empower. And then you can also purchase my book, This is Freedom. And I talk about actionable steps on how to break free of the barriers and the bondage that holds you back. And that's on all sites, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all of that.
Okay, I'm gonna get my copy for sure because
Awesome.
the Tyranny speak. I just gotta read it. I know it.
I'll send you one.
Oh, girl, don't tell me that. I'm about to be looking at checking the mail every other day. Well, Tiffany, you've been such a blessing, and I cannot wait to see what God has in store for you and talk to you more behind scenes about this Women Expo you did and just
Yes.
finding out more details about who you are because you're a phenomenal woman. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Lean. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired, empowered, and ready to take on whatever challenges come your way. If this conversation resonated with you, make sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. And don't forget to share it with someone who could use a little extra encouragement. The Lean podcast thrives because of listeners like you. So let's continue to build this community. Drop a comment, leave a review, and let us know what topics you'd love to hear more about. And if you haven't yet, be sure to join our Facebook group, the Ladies Empowerment and Alignment Network, where the conversation and support continues every day. Until next time, keep leaning into growth, empowerment, and alignment. Thanks for being a part of the Lean community.